Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with the weekly news and review for July 3rd, 2022. Been a pretty busy week overall, especially for me. We've got this upcoming holiday weekend, a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of stuff going on the channel. Did have Virtus show up, comparing the Fans Toys KOs to the officials, HasLab projects, Metroplex G1s. But let's get into some news here. Of course, we have Transformers. More stuff with Ramen Toy. I did have a live stream with Ramen Toy. We're going to get into all of the stuff going on there. Just found out this past week we got Nemo Studios making Crystar figures, Crystal Warrior figures, so we'll talk a little bit about that. The HasLab campaign for the His Take was kicked off and funded within 12 hours. And now we're seeing where this goes and what the tiers are. We finally got pictures of these rumored items from the Mcfarlane Batman 66, so pretty exciting right there. And not much Star Wars news, but I do have a few things that I really need to talk about. One's a rant. We're going to get all this coming up. Alright, so starting out what's new at Show Z, and there's an upgrade kit for legs for the New Age Devastator. Now this is $70 to get 3 sets of legs, and it upgrades with different colors and stuff from the original ones. I guess makes it look a little bit better. Kind of think it has to do with what we're going to talk about when we get to the Legends, but they say if you did buy all the parts from them and you built your whole Devastator from them, that they will kick you back like 5,500 points or something like that. So there's a pre-order up for the APC Toys trailer for the APC 001 Attack Optimus Prime Japanese version. So this is a trailer. It kind of opens up, does a whole lot of stuff. $1 down, and no price just yet. Release date sometime in 2022. But still, it's kind of interesting. Yet another Prime trailer out there. And we have this fourth-party TB01 Optimus Primal Kingdom KD01 oversized version. So this looks like an upscale version of Optimus Primal from the Kingdom line. So not really sure where this came from left field, but fourth party upscale. If you want it bigger, so you could get that one to more or less either be in your vintage Beast Wars collection, or you could just maybe use this as your masterpiece. Still, it's pretty cool, pretty interesting. Let's see how big they upscaled it to. 7.09 inches. Come with a figure, 2 swords, interchangeable face, detachable meteor hammer. And also, if you're looking for masterpiece KOs, there's a couple of those on the site on Show Z right now. So the Takara Sky Fire is in hand. I guess there's a video up about it. There's some pictures that we see, and it does look very good. I really do like the way this thing looks overall. I'm pretty excited for it, and I'm a Skyfire fan. The one thing is, though, I didn't see it compared next to the Fans Toys, which for me, that's what I want to see the most. I want to see exact height difference and exactly the differences in hand. That would have been more fun, but still, it does look excellent. Here's Y'all mode, and yeah, it's going to be a big alt mode because it's a big bot and very clean looking overall. So I think Takara's going to do a good job with it. Let's hope the materials hold, which I believe they will, because I didn't have any problems with my Seekers, and I really feel like this is just a bigger Seeker, right? Okay, so speaking of Takara, the Coronation set that goes with the 2.0/3.0 Seekers out there, it's starting to show up. Now, this is one of those things that it's really only shipping to Japan, and you had to buy all 3 and send your UPC, and this was a lot of work to get this thing, so a lot of us are just going to be left out in the cold until it gets KO'd, and then we get the KO version, I hope. I mean, that would make KO so awesome, because even people who bought all the officials will finally get it, because if you didn't live in Japan and you didn't buy all 3, then, you know, you didn't send it all in and all that kind of stuff. So it is kind of sucky how they did it, yeah, but it looks like the same as all the other Coronation sets. And they did make a big deal about how to kind of flip around the cape to make it look bigger and better, and the different ways you can do it. But still, it feels exactly like all the other Coronation sets. The hard plastic and all that kind of stuff. I don't have a problem with the hard plastic, but it does kind of make the figure a little unstable, in my opinion. But it would be cool to have a cloth one, though, right? So it looks like we're getting the X-Transbots Toys MX33B Jakun in a G2 color scheme for TFCon Toronto. So that's pretty cool there. I This is awesome. A Defensor, a G2 Defensor that's going to be getting made. It's a big deal because of the G1 one, I believe, never got made. It was one of those things, but Extron's about doing it. And I actually missed out on this figure for the first one. I don't know what I was thinking. So I think I might try to pick this figure up in Toy Deco, but the G2 looks pretty cool. Okay, so I have to get this Vectron's Lab discussion out of the way. I've had a couple people message me about it, and so I've looked into it. No one's really given me all the specifics, but people are more or less saying that the project is dead in the water, or it's not going to go any further, or this kind of stuff. So I did go straight to the Facebook page and see, of course, if people are saying that about the Vectron Labs, then they're going to have a response. So here's what they said. So just reading it directly, announcement for clarification. Dear friends and fans and customers, we have seen some chats, but we want to confirm, as we do in our announcements, that there are no problems that compromise Vectron Lab, neither project nor the work, and the artistic and technical staff of Vectron Labs is not limited to 1 or 2 people, but an international team with long-lasting working relationships for years, not months, and they go into a whole lot more. Basically, they're saying that the project's still on course. So, the weird thing is, though, since all this scuttle's been going on, there hasn't been really any updates from them. So, that's what is odd, is that people are saying it's dead in the water, but yet there's no updates, but they say everything's fine when they were coming out with updates almost twice a week for a while. So it's strange that it's going on out there, but I really hope this project does come to fruition. But it looks like they're stumbling a little bit. So there's this other project. It's the Super 55 Destroyer, and it's made by, I guess it's made by Easy to Play. And it's this robot that turns into a battleship. You say my battleship. So that's kind of cool. And I don't know size, availability, price, all that kind of stuff. I don't know any of that. But I feel like I've seen this before, but it looks different than the last one I saw. There's another Star Destroyer, sorry. There's another one of these that turns into a battleship. So still, it's kind of fun. It's kind of exciting. And it's really interesting to get the off-the-wall stuff like this. So I got a few more pictures from Transart, but I think they're pictures we've already seen. I don't know if we've already seen these and I've shown them, or, well, anyway, this is supposed to be their their Cheetor, and it's from the Transmetal 2, and I think all this stuff is in the Transmetal category. Next up, we've got a picture of this, I believe, is Dinobot for the Transmetal 2 also. Now, they've already hinted at that, but this is the only picture that we've actually seen of anything, like any sort of render, any sort of work done on it. So that's what makes me kind of think that it is actually a newer picture. We also got a picture of what I think is, I don't even want to say what I think this is. I don't know what this is. This is one of their projects they're working on. I wanted to say it was Tarantulas, but then I also kind of think, well, maybe it's Rampage. I don't know. Still, it's cool that they're moving along, and then we do know this. I believe this is Tarantulas too. So it's pretty cool and exciting, and I think that the Transmetal is the coolest part of Beast Wars. I'm sure I'm one of the few that believe that, but I do believe that. Light week of Masterpieces news. But I do want to say that I got both of the 2 different versions of the KO that are out there. There's a Cyclonus from one company, and then there's a Thomas or Astrotrain from another company, and I actually reviewed both of them. And at the same time, we didn't really review them, just kind of looked at the quality and compared and contrast and discussed it on Friday. And I hope that's helpful to people. I just don't feel like the quality on the Cyclonus was what I expected. But you step back, and you think about it, and you tighten some screws, which I did tighten screws, it didn't help me. But you step back and think it's half the price for about 30% less the quality. That's not the end of the world, right? So getting into Like Toys update here. And it's not a big update, just this picture. You get to see the fingers, you get to see guns coming out of the hand. Now, they did show the fist with guns coming out of the fist. Now this shows the fingertips. Now I don't know if the fingertips are going to be like swappable, removable, so you can have actual fingertips, or if they're going to look like they're missile launchers in the fingertips, or whatever, the holes in the fingertips. So I'm not sure about all of that, but I do think this is a cool little addition. It's just one of those things that I just don't think about, and they're thinking about a lot of little additions to every aspect of this figure. I mean, it's big, so you can work in anything you dream, and I think that's what they're doing. I think they're doing the if they can dream it, they can do it on this figure, and they're doing it. It's a really exciting project, and I just want to keep updating it as pictures flow in. So we got updated pictures of the Kotobukiya Bishujo series Transformers Convoy Optimus Prime. This is the actual color prototype, not just a render. And I guess it's the final. Looking pretty good overall. Now I'm hearing this thing is going to be pretty expensive. I still haven't seen the actual price on it just yet. But I'm hearing it's going to be like 150 or something. I don't want to quote a price. I just heard it was not what I thought it would be price-wise. But it looks really good. This little statue here, and she comes with a trailer briefcase. She does have a swappable face, either a swappable face or a movable mask, either one. But looks pretty cool. Now that they put this out, now they're showing the next project. They're actually being a bit of a tease about it. Oh, remember the days of the teaser trailers? There they are, the teaser pictures. So they're teasing a Bumblebee. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. It's pretty cool. Currently in development, and so I'm not shocked at all. And I think this is an interesting take on what they're doing and how they're doing it. And there's definitely a market for it. So it's pretty cool, and they're pretty tall. They're pretty big. So I still want to get more actual information about it next time they do updates. I'm pretty sure we'll have all that. And real quick, I found it 9.25 inches tall, $150 for the Prime. Alright, so we've got pictures of the Metagate project, the Haiku, Age of Extinction, Triple Changer Drift, and it looks pretty cool. This is what you'd expect overall. Masterpiece scale, looking pretty good, very interesting, and it also turns into a Choppa. So helicopter mode there. The helicopter mode does look pretty good. There's a whole lot of detail, shall we say, to it, and parts to it, so that's a couple of different angles on it. Here is the car mode, and yeah, pretty cool looking car. So I believe the car mode is the best mode. Bot mode's pretty solid too. The helicopter mode, it looks a bit kibbly, but I think it's intended to be kibbly. But anyway, overall, pretty nice update to the project. So we got New Age updating their Devi, the HEX34, and this is going to be a toy version. So you got toy coloration. Great idea, which, I mean, it's not really like it's a new thing. They do it and other companies do it, but it still looks really cool. So I think it's a nice looking Devastator. And if you either missed out on the past ones, now your chance to get it now. And I think it's going to be a full-on box set. Not sure about the price just yet. I haven't seen the pre-orders, but it does look pretty cool. But what it does sort of change, and this is what I think that whole Show Z thing, where they're selling just the legs, is that's kind of going hand in hand with a leg upgrade for the other ones. If you want to say, now I want to go with this coloration, you get the leg upgrade. So I think that's cool too that they're offering that. So like you're not just sitting there going, man, I got to shell out for a whole new one. Now you could do a leg upgrade, and now you could go the same route. Or at least that's what I think. Maybe I'm just completely wrong on that. And New Age likes to say, well, why just make one toy version when we can make two? The H34Y, this is the G2 version, and it's yellow. There's arguments out there, and I've kind of seen versions that G2 should be either yellow or orange, but when I think of G2, I think of yellow, so does New Age. So I guess we're right on that one, or we think alike on that one. So I think it looks pretty cool, and it's a pretty interesting option. And again, this is something like, let's say you went Magic Square with one, and then you could get this one, New Age, in G2 yellow. That looks cool, and it'd be better than just having two green ones stand there, right? Alright, so New Age is also making a clear red version of their Ultra Magnus. And this is the H28 Octavian, and it's limited clear red. Everything they make's limited. They're only going to make so many, and then they're going to move to another color and another transparent color. So anyway, but it does look pretty good overall if you like the clear stuff, and again, another reason to buy yet another one. So there it is in the alt mode, and we know what the alt mode looks like, but I don't think any of this is solid. I think it's 100% clear. I didn't see, I'm trying to look and see if they show us anything that's solid. Like the last time they did a clear something, the inner bot was solid, so it looks to be, to me, I think it's all clear, except there are some parts on the lower feet, but I think everything else is clear too. We also got to see box art from New Age, which looks really cool. This does kind of give you a bit of a Beast Wars vibe without really saying Beast Wars. If you could look just using the font and making it look like that, that works. This, if you don't know what this is a reuse of the Cyclonus that they made into a Beast Wars character. Really awesome. Love it. So we've seen MPH Studios before, but I think it's really good to get a good comparison to what the size and scale is. So you got a Legends figure next to it. Now I think that's like the DX9, or it could be one of those other knockoffs of DX9 for the Soundwave. So the bigger one, Soundwave, is a DX9. It's an old school, like 4 inches. So this thing is supposed to be 2.5 inches, so that's how tall it is. And it's really tiny, but very, very detailed. And that's kind of what they wanted to show. And there we go with alt mode and bot mode, multiples of this. So they're just kind of, I guess, producing these things, or these might be all some prototypes and stuff like that. So still looks pretty good for being so small. But I also want to kind of show size versus a G1. So the G1 was already real small. Like it's a mini bot. It's a small mini bot. It's like a $1.50, $2 figure back in the day. It was the cheap one that you get entry level. That's why it was so small. And this is even smaller than that. So pretty cool that they made it that small and that detailed, and it looks so good. So update on the Cosmos that's going to be in the Legacy, and it does look pretty good. So I do like the way this looks, and come to find out some information about this, it wasn't going to look like this, but I'm so glad it does look like this. And here we go with alt mode, and that's about how it looks next to the Huffer right there. So with it, I mean, this is almost on scale with Masterpiece design-wise. In fact, it's going to hold its own, and it's going to be a fun comparison video. I usually don't do mainline reviews because I just don't have time, but I think I will do with this one. Just, I mean, why else have a bunch of Cosmos in your collection if you're not going to use them for comparison purposes? So that's the whole point there. Now, this picture shows that they were going to remold the old Cybertron Bumblebee that was a Target exclusive one, and they were going to remold that thing and turn it into Cosmos, and it would have looked like that on the bottom left for the bot mode. And I'm glad they went the right way and made a full-on new one, but that would have been terrible. I think Cosmos got the shaft a few times in the past, so finally giving them a good bot, they made a right decision. So we got some mainline news here with the reissue of Pterosaur, and we have that compared to the Beast Wars one, the one that's going to be coming in Target. It's going to be a Target exclusive Toy Colors one, but we also have the reissue one coming. So all this stuff is going on right now. But what's kind of standing out to me big time, if you look at the reissue one on the right, the one from the 90s, that is so small compared to what we're going to be getting. But those are both priced about the same, around $23 to $25, same price for the significantly less plastic and engineering that's going into the vintage one. So that's kind of strange about price-wise. We're going to be looking at that here in a second. Here we go, side-by-sides, and I do like the modern look better. I really wasn't into Beast Wars back in the day, but I like the character, and so I kind of like the modern update a whole lot more. Here's the packaging update for the Buzzworthy Bumblebee one that'll be at Target. So if you missed the one at Amazon, which I'm actually not even sure which one they were using in the comparison photos we just saw, but if you missed one at Amazon, just go check it out at Target. They're clearancing out. Target is clearancing out. We're going to talk about that in a second, what they have in place right now with this Buzzworthy Bumblebee line, but this is a pretty cool release. We got information about 2023 leader class. So we're going to be getting the Laser Optimus Prime with new packaging. We're going to be getting Blitzwing with new packaging. And then we're going to be getting a Transmetal 2 Megatron, the Dragon, the red, which I think is awesome. I don't think it's going to rival size-wise. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything just yet. I'm just curious how they pull it all off. And I look forward to that. That's one of the better things that came from Beast Wars was this Dragon Megatron. And I really hope they do a good job with it. But I'm excited for it. But yeah, it's exciting that it's coming. So I guess it took in-hand images that we just got of this Takara Tommy anti-gravity pedestal Tensa Gritty base in hand. So the thing about this is that I didn't really get why this was a big deal at all. But now that you kind of see it, and yeah, you can kind of have multiple layers of stuff going on, and with it connecting to the back and all that kind of stuff, that's kind of cool. I think it's most for like Seekers. I would probably put Seekers on there and stuff like that, but it does look kind of cool. There's just so many options. I don't think there's the best options for display right here, what we're seeing in this picture. But, you know, the sky's the limit, right? I guess the top of your shelf would be the limit. So, bringing back a little segment I like to call, what do you get for $10?
What do we get for $10?
You can get about this much gas in an average car right now for $10, right? Am I right? Maybe not that much. Okay, so this past week at Target, I found this sale going on, which, first of all, I didn't know they marked these things down, these Generation Studio series. They call these the Legends Core Class, whatever, but they marked them down to $849 and then put them on sale for $509. And so this is all about a packaging change. If you're starting to wonder, like, why are they doing this? It's a packaging change. They're trying to get into the legacy packaging, and this is very common at retail. Just take advantage of it and enjoy it. When you finally get a bone thrown your way, enjoy it, right? Now, technically, this isn't $10. I'm cheating. It's $11.49. But if you use your Target Red Card, you get 5%, or 5%, yeah, 5% off. So you can get down to about $11 right there, or something like that. Anyway, so this Buzzworthy Bumblebee Silver Streak is based more or less off of the Earthrise design, and these were showing up like crazy, and now they're clearing them out, probably because they're gonna have that next one coming up. So pretty cool that you wait just a little bit, because they haven't been out that long, and you can get a really good deal. Gotta make room for Pterosaur. So talking about Ramatoy real quick. Now, I don't know a whole lot about this, but it's called Mad Hawking helmet. It's 1-to-1 scale, so there's not a whole lot about this yet. This is more or less a teaser in a way, but it looks like they're going to make a helmet. And I've seen helmets out there. People want quite a bit for their helmets that are like homemade and handmade. So this will be an official product. Well, not official. It's going to be properly produced product. It's pretty cool. Right in the middle of producing the Silverhawks Quicksilver, looking awesome right there with a whole bunch of them. So that looks great. I love the paint job on these guys. Here's a really good picture of it, looking outstanding. Love the way it looks. It's gonna look great on a shelf for sure. And just dialing out a shelf of all the characters that they're gonna do, looking like this. And the final packaging, I believe this is the final packaging, which still looks good too. So that's attractive enough. If you don't want to take it out of the box, you can still see it, and it's posed holding Tallyhawk. Excellent. Now, all the stuff that's going on with Ramen Toy, I think the most exciting thing is this Apache Commander, and it's because of the fact that it was never released back in the day, and people who collect the vintage stuff really want to get their hands on one of these, so it's pretty awesome. It is a $140 early bird. Early bird's extended for an extra month, so all the way through July. Trying to hit 800 sell 800. There's not enough interest, and they're just going to not even break even on the project, and why go forward with the project. But let's talk a little bit more about this and the implications of it. But it does come with the weapon system for 140, and you get the Apache Commander, where it's based off of John Thunder. Here he is on the system, on the weapon system, looking pretty awesome, and it's going to be motorized. He's going to spin around, and the whole gimmick was you had to push it with your hand to spin it around back in the day, and nowadays it's going to be battery operated, so that I think that's a pretty cool approach to go through it. It's more expensive to make it battery operated, but it looks amazing doing that. He can also lay on his stomach and spin around, and it will spin. You can also load it up by itself, and it will function on its own and spin. So a lot of different options, and it was all thought about. We're talking stuff that actually no one really knew how it worked exactly, but then Ace went out of his way to find out how it worked and how it functioned, and all of this stuff. Pretty exciting. Here's the part breakdown. This is every part you're getting with this set except one, and I've got the first reveal picture that I'm going to show here in a minute. But this is like breaking it all down to the basic core of it, and there's a lot that goes into this. This isn't simplistic. It's not overly complicated that there's too much that could like break over time. This is simplistic enough to feel vintage, but complicated enough that you're going to know it's a step above what Kenner was doing. Also included is this dagger. You're probably first seeing it here. And, well, I probably should have asked, can I even talk about this? Or why would he send me this picture if I can't use it? So, anyway, this is a very, very early design. It may look different before it comes out, but this is like a very, very early design. And the thing I didn't think about it's going to plug into the figure into any one of the holes. You can fill any of the holes with this, and instead of having a holster, it plugs in. Great idea. Opens it for swords and all that kind of stuff down the road, maybe. Really cool. So there's a company called Nemo Studios, and they're going to be making Crystar figures. So Fifth Element. So what I think this Fifth Element at the bottom is like another company that's going to piggyback on this. They're going to use that license together and make different types of products. Nemo's going to make action figures, and Fifth Element's going to make something else. So that's what I think is going on right there. In case you don't know what Crystar is or Crystal Warrior figures, I actually had a couple of these when I was a kid. I had the dragon and the rider on the dragon, so I remember this quite well, but there's more characters out there than I even knew existed, so that's kind of cool, but they look great. Now, I wanted to look into this company and say, well, what have they made in the past? All I found was this fuzzy picture called Cosmic Cowboys, and so they're either 3.75 inch or what they're saying about the Crystar figures, they'll be 4.5 inch. So I'm curious how that all works. There are different sizes of Crystar figures. Some are taller than others. So if they're starting out at the 4.5 inch, so I would think Crystar and his brother, the two leaders, Moltar, I think it's Moltar, something like that. So that might be how they go. So they're going to start with making 2 figures at first. They say that'll be about $30 and per figure for US. And so that's kind of steep, but again, no one else has touched Crystar. That's kind of what happens when you get into these lines that no big manufacturer is going to make big production runs. Small boutique, it's going to cost more. No word on release date. As soon as I find more information, I'll let you know. So now I've reported on this before, kind of a leak, and I will admit, I believe it was Geek Dad Life that first talked about this, that got me to learn about this and look into it deeper. But there's some reveals for the Mcfarlane 66 Batman line. Now, we got the Joker and the Batman in black and white, and so we're not going to spend much time on that. But the whole reason that they keep putting those figures out in different variations, because the line really wouldn't succeed if you didn't have a Batman or a Robin or a Joker or some major character on the shelves at the time, right? So then we got Mr. Freeze, which looks great for a 66 version of Mr. Freeze. No accessories except for the kapow and the signs, whap, whap. I mean, that, I wish they would have had accessories, to tell you the truth. Then the bottom left, now this is a season 1 Catwoman, so that's pretty cool too. Basically, I think you're literally just getting a new head, so no big deal. But getting into these other two, I'm going to do some better pictures. So I did a little looking into this. When I first heard they're going to be a villain's lair, it was a rumor at the time, but Mcfarlane asked everybody to take all of this rumor information down, which tells you that the rumor was spot on. So anyway, the villain's lair, this is kind of a picture that I saw and I thought, what's it going to look like? Are they going to have a filing cabinet? Are they going to have a green shelf and a big poster? And so then there was another one I was looking at, but I didn't show it in my news, that shows this green shelf in the background and all that kind of stuff. The table they sit around and all of that. So then here's what we get. That's like spot on to the pictures. I mean, the green is a little more teal, I guess you could say, but the picture on the wall wasn't a picture of the villains. But that's pretty spot on. You get a filing cabinet, a table. Now, I gotta say something about this. I think it's really cool. It looks good, and I'm definitely buying one. And then I think that this is not going to be that popular, though. Sadly, I hope it shows up in stores, and I hope it does sell. But the Batcave itself has kind of stopped selling at retail, more or less. Like, there's a bunch of them, and nobody buys them. And I could see less people interested in this than the Batcave. But I still think it's really awesome, really cool that they're making it. So I'm definitely interested. I'm definitely getting one right away. Gonna get another one down the road, possibly on sale. Hoping on sale. But I don't even know where I'm gonna put it. I think that's what the problem is. So the next thing we get is this Bat Cycle. The Bat. This is cool too. I really like this, the way this looks. This is one of the 2 pictures that I found of the cycle, and I was wondering which one it would be. but this is the one I kind of thought it would be, and it does look cool overall. Now, what's interesting is if you look close, there's like a little sled for Robin. So that sled for Robin slides out, and I guess he rides it. I don't know with the limited articulation how he'll fit on it. That would have been interesting, but still, really, this is cool. It's just something I didn't expect, and I don't know price or anything like that. Really exciting, though. So, the G.I. Joe HISS tank for HasLab for Classified, funded in less than a day, and then they've unlocked the first tier. I think they probably unlocked the second one by the time this goes up, but the first tier was some missile launchers. I've already talked about that in my video I already made, and then the second tier is this. So if you look, the canopy and then there's like side covers you could put over the sides, the treads there, to make it look more like it's classic. So this is the actual pieces that you would be getting and just placing over it for the unlocked tier, which I'm sure it's going to unlock. And I made a video, so go check it out, but my feeling is it's still not worth $300. The tier upgrades will get it closer, but it feels like about a $150 item. And then we can maybe get it up to about $225 with the unlocks and the extra figures and stuff. Speaking of extra figures, the Tactician is going to be... They're going to do a poll eventually. And we're going to get to pick the color of the Tactician. I like the purple one. Which one do you like? The one on the right with the red helmet is probably going to get picked. Okay, so there's some low-key pipeline reveals that they just kind of only told to some live stream that I never saw, and so I started hearing people talking about this, that they did do a pipeline reveal of Ripper and Firefly. So in this, the Ripper's going to be all new, basically saying, we're making all the Dreadnoks. That's basically what they're saying, without saying it. And then Firefly is going to have more retro look to him, so I don't know if they're going to take the same mold, or they're just going to completely use a different body, a different buck, and go super retro with it. I mean, they could. There's so many bucks out there that would work, and they just camo it. So that would work, and then get classic weapons, accessories, all that kind of stuff. I'm starting to think this might actually be one that they would put into their retro series. So there's not much going on in Star Wars other than me taking a picture of what's showing on my shelf here. So we did get this archive wave in, and so I got two things to say about this archive wave. First of all, it's a great wave. The C-3PO probably not the greatest pick in the world. The Lando is a good one, I guess, but I think you still get it on Amazon pretty cheap. But I do want to say that it says $25 for these figures. They rang up $22.99, the Dengar and the Emperor, so they're ringing up a little cheaper. But these still should be at the $20 mark. I mean, there is very little to no new stuff going on with this. I mean, it's not anything new. They're just putting out their old figures, but hey, whatever. They're still charging $23, but that was better than $25, right? But wait, if Target gets these, I bet you they're only $20. So I really don't have any Star Wars news, but I will have a quick rant about buying Star Wars at Walmart. Now, I got this Bib Fortuna, and it was $25. It rang up 27 and some change, 27, 22 or something like that, after all the tax and all that nonsense. $27 for this guy. Now, he's a great-looking figure. I'm happy to have him, but then about 2 weeks after that, I found it online. Actually, my son did, for $17, so I ordered it for $17. When that came in, I go to return this, and I got a hassle. I had my receipt, and Walmart hassled me. They didn't let me return it at one Walmart. I went to the original Walmart I purchased it, and it took me 15 minutes of them trying to figure it out. Problem was, they classified this as electronics, and after 30 days, you can't return it, so they had to override it for me. They had to go up the chain to override it. It was a big mess. It's almost a big nightmare to buy anything at Walmart, unless you know for sure you're going to keep it forever. But they are the higher price than a lot of the other outlets out there, so it's kind of give it a take. I mean, if you buy it and you expect to possibly return it for one reason or another, expect a hassle. So what do you think about this week's weekly news and review? There's a lot going on out there, maybe not in the Masterpiece Transformer realm, maybe not so much in the Legends, but there's still a lot going on out there. Lots of fun this week, busy. I'm trying to keep up with comments. I try, and I'll try to do better this next week. Like, subscribe, Titanium Hanger out.